Hey, it's a friend choice CJ here, and I'm coming to you guys with my Week 12 battle for UBC. We are going up against Daniel, aka Papa Boy, and he is the coach of the Mississauga Weezings. I don't really know what that is, but he asked me to put that as his team name, so here we are. And as you can see, he has a team of Celesteela, Latias, Scolipede, Togekiss, Slowbro, Crocodile, Snorlax, Mega Tyranitar, Emboar, and Vikavolt. So what's at stake at this game is potentially my playoffs. So if I manage to win this, I'll climb to a 6-6 record, but that won't guaranteed put me into playoffs. I need either Reckless Bat, aka Nick, to lose, or I need Isolate, aka Jonah, to lose. They both have 6-5 records coming into this week. But if either of them lose and I do win, I'm guaranteed to have a better differential than either of them, and I will guaranteed get into playoffs. But, you know, I am still mad at myself for putting myself in this position where I'm relying on somebody to lose their games in order to get in. But all that I can really focus on is trying to win this game versus Daniel. And so we'll do our best in this game, and what happens after that happens. So I am, versus him, bringing a Expert Built Victini, Blue Flare, Energy Ball, Psyshock U-Turn. Pretty good versus his team. His most likely responses to this are some sort of defensive Slowbro or a Latias. That's pretty bulky, so I'm expecting those. Unfortunately, I can't really hit Lati on this set, but I can U-Turn, and I can pivot easily into Steelix if I feel like I need to, or I can go into Weavile if I'm convinced that he's not Colbur Berry, if he's in range of knockoff after Colbur Berry, or if there's some other good reason for me to do that. So this is just really nice versus his team. This is also really important because Celesteela is a huge threat, and I don't have anything else on my team to hit it super hard. Next, we do have a SD Cobalion. Close Combat Stone Edge is really all the coverage that we need. Stealth Rock is there because obviously I want rocks. And then Sugar Berry helps me take on Scolipede a little bit more because Scolipede is really scary. I mean, it's not scary versus my team. I've got Cobalion, Lando, Steelix, and Quillfish, which all take it on rather well. So that's very good for me. But, you know, just if it gets out of hand, I'm not that excited about playing it. And if it's Baton Pass, then that really sucks. But anyway, this hits most of his team. Like, I can't hit Lottie super hard, but there's no move I can put on Cobalion to hit super hard. And I can't hit Slowbro super hard, and it's the same thing. So if I'm able to whittle down those threats, Cobalion could potentially put in work. I've got a fast Blastoise, Scald, Dark Pulse, Aurasphere, Rapid Spin. This thing is amazing versus him. He doesn't have a good response to it. It 2 KOs pretty much everything on his team. And we are outspeeding Mega Tyranitar with this thing. So, yeah, this is just a huge threat. And also, I want Spin in order to support Weavile and Victini. I do have a Gravity Earthquake Lando with Ground DMZ for Tectonic Rage. Shoutouts to Magic Activator. He brought this set versus Greg in the GBAD League last week, and it really put in work. So, it's also going to be putting in good work versus Daniel's team. And Stone Edge is there to hit Vikavolt. Knockoff is there for things like Slowbro, Lottie, etc. So I really like the set this week. We have enough speed on here for, what's his base, 80? Togekiss. So that's what this is for. We have a Spadef Steelix, but we have enough attack investment on this thing that we can 2-hit KO Vikavolt if it's max HP after a rock switch in. Otherwise, this thing is a good pivot for Vikavolt, good pivot for Lottie, good pivot for most Scolipeds. Like, yes, it can pack Earthquake and Aqua Tail, but I have 436 defense, so not that big a deal. This thing is sort of checked by Emboar, but Emboar doesn't have that great of a matchup versus my team because it's really offensive. He could bring a Scarf variant, and that'd be really scary. So we'll have to see if that happens. And then last but not least, we do have a SD Weavile, Sword Stance, Ice Shard, Knockoff, and Low Kick. I could have put Icicle Crash over Ice Shard, but Ice Shard is nice for hitting Scarf Crocodile, for hitting Scarf Lottie, just other things that I need to outspeed. You know, Scarf Togekiss, things like that. And then Sword Stance, like, I don't anticipate clicking it, but I just don't really think I needed the next move. And so, yeah, that's the team. And now let's hop into the replay. We do see on Daniel's side of the field, we have Crocodile, Celesteela, Latias, Slowbro, Vikavolt, and Scolipede. So his best checks to Lando are obviously the Celesteela, but then also like a fully Fizz-Def Slowbro does really well versus Landorus, so I'll have to keep that in mind. He has his Scolipede, which is a tremendous threat versus my entire team, but between Cobalion, Steelix, and Lando, hopefully I can check it. Blastoise does incredibly well versus his team. In fact, it is going to be my lead of choice because it leads off extremely well versus 5 of the 6 members of his team. So let's just not waste any time and let's hop on into this. There's a lot on the line for me here, and let's hope that it works out. So I do lead off with my Blastoise as he leads with Slowbro. I really got no reason not to click Dark Pulse here. And he goes into Vikavolt, and I'm actually going to land a crit on this thing. And it's going to reveal that it is probably a max HP set. I don't know if it's, got any defense investment or anything like that. But I am going to switch out just on the off chance that he's like a weird Scarf set or something. Blastoise is just too good in this matchup to take that sort of risk. And yes, Scarf is a weird set for Vikavolt. It's not good versus my team, but I'm not taking any risks here, especially when I have a really safe switch in Steelix, and he does just reveal the Roost, which is pretty interesting. It kind of, he's not choiced, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in all likelihood. So I am just going to go for Fire Fang in case he wants to stay in an Energy Ball me. And it hits most of his switch-ins anyway, like Celesteela. And I do get off 24% damage on this Crook. I notice immediately there is no Intimidate, and the damage that I get off suggests that he is uninvested in his bulk. So he could be a Scarf set, is kind of what I'm wondering. But in any case, my best switch into this thing right now is going to be my Landorus. And so I do pivot that in, and as you're about to see, he's actually just going to go for Stealth Rocks. So it's possible that he's not choiced, and he's, because he does have rocks, but I'm still thinking that he's got to be some sort of offensive set, because he doesn't have Intimidate. He's probably got Moxie. He almost certainly doesn't have Anchor Point. So the most likely offensive sets for Crook are Scarf. I think that Scarf's best versus my team. He could also be banned, but I think Scarf's most likely. Anyway, he's most likely going to be switching out here. And this is a good opportunity for me to go for Gravity because he's going to go right into his Celesteela, and he's going to be immediately threatened by my Gravity. And no matter what he does here, I'm just going to click Tech Rage because he doesn't have a resist to it. And the Slowbro comes in, and I'm going to hit it up with this Tech Rage, and it's going to do 63%. So decent damage. Obviously I would have liked it to do more, but it does suggest to me that this is a max defense Slowbro, so that makes a lot of sense. I can go for Knockoff here, potentially. I'm not sure if that's what I do or not. If he's Colbur Berry for some reason, then I won't be able to kill. I think what I do is I pivot into my Blastoise, because it gives me an opportunity to spin. But I don't remember precisely. No, I do stay in and go for Knockoff. And I find out that this is a Z Scolipede. I'm expecting a Z Aqua Tail, and that's not a risk, that's not a move that I want to take on my Landorus. Landorus can still potentially do work versus at least 3 of the members of his team. So I'm going to switch into my Cobalion to try and take this Hydro Vortex. It should do about 45%, but it is revealed to be Tectonic Rage. So we both have Tectonic Rage this week, but luckily I do have Shuka Berry, which allows me to take that pretty well. And I'm just going to go for Stone Edge. The Stone Edge is guaranteed to hit because we do have the Gravity up, and he lives on 1 HP. I'm not sure how much of a roll that is, but, it is what it is. Not that worried about it. The interesting thing to note here is that he's not a Speed Boost Scolipede. I gotta wonder if that was just a mistake in team prep, because I don't think there's any reason to run Poison Point in this matchup. So that's unfortunate for him if that's the case. I don't want to sack my Cobalion yet because I want to be able to set up rocks at some point. So I'm going to go into my Lando. He's going to make a really smart play and quick Aqua Tail on my switch-in, which really makes sense. It was going to kill the Cobalion anyway, assuming it does connect. It's a 90% chance to hit, so you never know. It could miss. But this gets off a little bit of damage on my Lando, which is obviously pretty nice for him. And I'm not going to want my Lander to get weakened, I don't think. So I think I go into my Blastoise. No, I just go for a knockoff. Because, you know, as I said a moment ago, you know, it's good versus potentially 3 members of his team. Being Slowbro, Celesteela, and Vikavolt. But it doesn't, like, really immediately threaten any of those. Like, Slowbro is just, like, really bulky. And so, as you can see, it took 40% from knockoff, and now it's not in range of a second. Vikavolt, it is immune to Earthquake. Celesteela is also immune to Earthquake, so I have to set up Gravities versus those things. So just to try and get rid of his threat, that is Scolipede, you know, I would decide, okay, it's worth staying in here. And I click knockoff, and I get rid of this thing's Assault Vest. So it's interesting that it's Assault Vest. It tells me he doesn't have any recovery, and it makes sense that he is Assault Vest because it makes him a better pivot for Victini. So it makes me kind of wonder what Lottie set he could be. You know, if this is sort of a response to both Landorus and Victini. But I don't know anything, you know, because I haven't seen it come in yet. So we'll see how that goes. But I am going to now just go into my Blastoise because I have no reason not to. This Slowbro doesn't threaten it whatsoever. And he's going to make a double, actually, and he's going to go into his Scolipede. And I'm like, please stay in. Please stay in. I want the Rapid Spin kill. I want it so bad. And he gets off the Earthquake, and I do get the Rapid Spin kill. So no matter what else happens in this game, I got a Rapid Spin kill, and I'm the happiest man, okay? This is pretty hype. So he sends out his Vikavolt, and Blastoise cannot Oko this thing unless it gets a crit. And that's not something that I like to risk, so I'm just going to go into my Steelix. I don't know if I've seen if he's Life Orb or not. I guess I haven't seen any item yet because he's only gone for Roost. But I should still be able to take 2 Energy Balls from a Life Orb Vikavolt, or maybe I don't remember precisely. But he turns out not to be Life Orb, and the Slowbro comes in, and I am able to hit it up with a Toxic. His last time he was facing down this Steelix, he did go into his Crocodile. So I was thinking about heavy slamming, but on the off chance that he did bring in this Slowbro, I did want to get a Toxic off. So Toxic covered at least both of those plays. He could have gone Celesteela, but I did show Fire Fang. And not that Fire Fang would do a ton of damage to Celesteela, but he might not want to take any damage on that thing unnecessarily. It would put him in range of Weavile, in range of Blastoise, in range of Lando, etc., etc. So Slowbro made a lot of sense from his end, and that's why I went for Toxic. So that's quite nice for me. And I don't really have anything to really switch into this. So I just go into my Blastoise while I still can. And he, I believe, is going to make another double. So he's playing very well with the Slowbro, making sure that I don't get any free turns on it. And he's also keeping it at a very high amount of health. I think it's at almost 100% health. Now this Crook comes in. I don't have a play besides going in here and clicking Scald. If he's Scarf, like I suspect, he's not going to be able to kill me, and I'll be able to kill him in return with Scald. But as you're going to see, his Earthquake actually does knock me out, which tells me that he is absolutely choice banned. I don't even think there's a chance that he is like Earth Plate, Soft Sand, anything like that. I think he has to be banded in order to do that. So, you know, definitely good for me. I can go into my Cobalion, scare him out here, and get up my rocks finally as he goes into his Slowbro. And as I mentioned, the Slowbro is a little bit of a problem for me. I don't have anything that can really switch in on it. So my Cobalion, I'm just going to leave it in here, click Close Combat, and let it go down. Close Combat obviously isn't going to do a tremendous amount of damage, but it's only 10 base power less strong than Stone Edge. It has a 100% chance to hit. So I decided I'd rather take the guaranteed damage than get just that tiny little bit of extra. And I put the Slowbro at 59%. This does put it in guaranteed range of Energy Ball from my Expert Belt Victini. So that's what I'm going to go into here. In retrospect, I should have just made the aggressive play and click U-turn. Because he does bring in his Latias. And even if he left Slowbro in, you know, it'll probably do like 30% or so. It's not too bad. It does 9% to Latias, which does suggest that it's probably max HP. I don't think it necessarily has any defense investment, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And he's going to get an opportunity to defog here. So it stinks that, you know, I pretty much sacked my Cobalion just to get up rocks. And now they're off the field. And, you know, all that little bit of chip damage on things like Celesteela, Slowbro, all would have been quite nice. But I'm expecting his switch out, so I'm going to make a double of my own and go into the Victini. And pretty much anything that he doubled into would be OHKO'd by Victini. Crocodile would be OHKO'd by Energy Ball, assuming he's no bulk. And he kind of has to be max speed, max attack in order to outspeed Lando. The Slowbro, I guess it's at a range of HP where it could live 2 Energy Balls because it does get Regenerator. But it's not going to take that well. Celesteela is going to take a chunk from Blue Flare, and Vigivolt's going to take a chunk from Blue Flare. So that's why I decided to make this double again. And I am going to click the U-turn this time as he brings in his Lottie. And so I get off this U-turn, and it's looking like it's just a max HP. It doesn't have any defense investment based on this. So I think it's max HP, max speed. I do calc, and I am able to determine that Weevile's knockoff will be able to kill even through Colbur Berry. So that's what I decide to do. I just go into my Weavile, and nothing on his team really wants to take knockoff. Like, basically, no matter what, I get a kill here. I guess Celesteela from full can take the combination of knockoff and low kick. So that's one thing he could have done. But he does let the Lottie go down. And he brings in the Slowbro. So this is a tricky turn because, as I've been mentioning, Slowbro is a Pokemon that threatens my entire team. I don't have a switch into it. And so, basically, I know that both my Weavile and my Victini outspeed his entire team. Either of those Pokemon are looking like they can clean up in the late game. And so rather than try and switch in and take something like a Scald on 3 of my Pokemon that are weak to it, I decided to stay in here and click Sword Stance. Now, this is certainly an odd play, but, if I do get off the Sword Stance, he cannot kill me with Fire Blast, he cannot kill me with HP Fighting, because I'm almost 100% positive that he's max HP, max defense, and HP Fighting from an uninvested Slowbro to 76% max. So, is it possible that, that he can go for Scald and burn me? Yes, but I'm basically, there's basically nothing I can do about that. I don't have any better options in terms of switching in. If he goes for Fire Blast or HP Fighting, I get up to +2, and I get at least 1 kill, probably 2. Because it depends on what he decides to do. But Crocodile will die to the combination of knockoff plus any move, and Celesteela will die to the combination of knockoff plus any move. So I'll at least get 1 kill, and that'll set up my Victini for the late game. So even if something weird happens with my Weavile, I still have lots of options in the back. I'm not that worried about it. So I do go for the Sword Stance here, and then he actually is going to reveal the counter. So that really sucks for him. He gets nothing out of that turn. He's now in guaranteed range of knockoff. I needed to do 88% min. Or sorry, I need to get him below 88% to guaranteed kill him. I do kill that. Celesteela is going to come in next. If he's max HP set, I don't kill, especially if he's got defense investment. But all I need to do is put him in range of Victini. That's all that I care about. If he goes for something like Autotomize, I can go for an Ice Shard afterwards and get it really low, or potentially kill it. I am +2 after all. And if he's Autotomize, he's not going to be super duper bulky. So that's good for me. So I'm just going to click Knockoff, and if he kills me, I go to Victini and get the remaining kills this game. Knockoff's going to straight OHKO the Celesteela, which is unbelievable. Like, I was so shocked. I didn't know what Celesteela said he was because he hadn't really brought it in all game, but we were able to kill it. I knew that this was a banded Crocodile and that I would be able to go for any move versus it, just in case I somehow screwed up the calcs, and that he's actually Scarf and not banned. I decided to go for Ice Shard because I knew that Ice Shard would guaranteed kill. And then the Vikavolt comes in, and we are going to be able to click Knockoff versus that thing. And Knockoff is Charty Berry. So Charty Berry is pretty cool. It makes it a pretty decent switch in for the Landorus. So I like what he was thinking there, but it is going to be a 4-0 victory for your boy Choice CJ. That is going to put us to a 6-6 record with a +10 differential. This is crazy. Like, I've never had this sort of differential with this sort of record. Usually you'd have a differential around 0, if you'd think. So we put ourselves in the best position that we possibly can. We just need one of Jonah or Nick to lose. And I will go ahead and spoil that result in case you guys are interested. If you don't want to know yet, make sure you go check out their channels for their games. But after I've given you this moment to turn away, pause the video. I can let you guys know that Nick did lose his match to Darth Vader, and that is going to put us into playoffs. So I don't know if we're going to get the 4 seed or the 5 seed. And either way, our opponent is going to be, well, I guess Jonah can technically miss out on playoffs if he gets 6-0'd. He hasn't played his game by the time that I'm recording this. But if he gets 6-0'd, I think we'll actually go up against Darth Vader instead. But assuming that Jonah doesn't get 6-0'd, then he and I will be battling in the first round of playoffs, and I'm really excited for that. He and I battled in week 1, and I feel like I played poorly and lost to him. I think it was a 2-0 loss. So I'm eager to get the opportunity to fight him again, and get some payback. So should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Weefile was able to get 5 kills. In the past 2 weeks, it's actually gotten 9 kills, which is great. It puts it in 5th place in the league currently. I don't know how it might change with the remaining games, but it puts it 5th overall, so that's excellent. I'm quite hyped for that. I'm quite hyped for playoffs. If you guys are looking forward to that, make sure you check back to the channel for other gaming and Pokemon content. Until the next time, I'll see you guys later.